following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
And I was like, yes, hi. I was so excited.
Oh, we said hi. Let me get that hi again.
Okay, hi.
A guy get to a point and he asks you to marry him, he really wants to marry you.
Mm-hmm. He ready.
Like he really feels like, you know what, she's the one. She's the one.
You already getting the goods. You got to pay for it. Bring me the ring and get on one knee.
Okay.
Or two.
You need time to observe someone and really get a sense of how well do they treat you, how well do they handle adversity.
You're not the one because you don't have grit, the perseverance. You ain't really want me because you ready to give up. Because I said no. Nah, you shouldn't have asked. But since I said no, now it's your job to stay in the game and try to fight for it.
Boy, on 5 Heartbeats, when you make the announcement you're going solo at the award ceremony.
What up, and happy One-Eyed Shut Day. Welcome to the podcast about many topics from the perspective of 3 married couples. So glad to be back here with you all again tonight. We have another great show prepared for you. Well, really not prepared. I guess we don't really prepare. We decide on a topic and then we just go with it. So we have another one again tonight. Glad you came to listen. We're coming up off of a holiday as well. Hope you all had a great holiday weekend. And so my name is Gina Glimpf and I am your host. And I have the dopest podcast crew here with me tonight, and we get ready to check in with them, see how they're doing, what their word of the day is. And so guys, as we go around and you give your word of the day, tell me what you did this weekend for your holiday weekend. We ready, y'all? All right, Al, since you looked at me.
Wow.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Listen, y'all, that's how rumors get started. No, it take a little more than that. But I'm just saying.
Oh.
All right, Al, what you got for us? How you doing?
What's up, co-host and listeners? Let's see how I'm doing. Good. My word of the day is revolution. That's my word of the day.
Black power.
Yeah. So just we are facing. I think I've had a good conversation on my way home with a friend of mine about just the election and just the state of where we are in terms of some of our issues. And I think it can be real disheartening and frustrating kind of to go through our days, and particularly when we have an election that's coming up in 2 months and people are still talking like the idiot we got as a president has a chance to win. So I'm encouraging all to be revolutionary by voting and going out there to encourage others to vote. And if that doesn't happen, we need a plan B and move to another country. In terms of my weekend, I am coming off a good weekend where did a little grilling on Sunday. Was it Sunday? I think Sunday and Monday.
It was Sunday and Monday.
Sunday and Monday. Did some steaks Sunday night and then some ribs Monday. Got to see my daughter. So I had a full home house of people. And so that was always good. On the phone with some family members. So got to connect with some folk. And caught up on some episodes of Power. So that is a thing that me and my wife have been doing for the last couple of weeks. And we missed the whole Power era. and great timing considering they coming out with the sequel. That's just like me to like listen to some shit like 4 years old or watch a series that people liked and it's like after it's over and that's just how I do things. But good, real good series. For us to both be watching it and enjoying it, I think speaks to how good it is because we have been watching the show together.
So, I think I'm not a good binger. Just generally speaking, I've tried it a couple of times and I'll get into a few episodes and then I'm done. Like I get bored, it gets tired, it get like it's just overkill. I don't know, but I've been doing pretty good with this show. Uh, and I think that one of the things that's keeping me, like, it's almost like they have every other episode that's a good one, right? Like, none of them are horrible, but some are definitely much better than others. And it's like just at those times when I think about, like, really, I'm not going to make it through all of these seasons, like, they'll have a really good episode. And it's like, okay, we got to watch one more before we go to bed because I got to see what happens. So that kind of just what, like, keeps me going back and hooked. But generally speaking, it really is pretty good. But I also wanted to comment on something that you said about the voting. So I heard today that it's kind of that same thing that allowed your president to win this time, that we have a lot of particularly younger people that are thinking, I don't like either candidate, so I'm not going to vote. And so, again, this is just something that I heard kind of on the airways. And so I don't know how true it is. I could see it. I could see it because that's what happened the first time. I also can see it because, and I'll just speak for myself. Neither of the candidates are particularly favorable for me. I just don't take that attitude of I'm not going to vote for either. I'm going to vote because I understand that a no vote equals a vote for Trump. And I'm just not interested. And so I just want to encourage everybody that's listening, please go vote. Take somebody with you. Make sure the young people in your lives are voting because y'all, for real, it's a real possibility, I think, that he could win. And we don't want that to happen. So everybody needs to get out there and vote. All
And
right, just
before you go to the next person, I'll just say I can definitely relate to the feeling of not liking a candidate and not believing your vote counted. And I did not vote my first presidential election until it was Bush's probably second term. And so you're talking 2000, maybe, I think. I'm not sure when. I think it was 2000. So I'm 30 years old before I voted in my first presidential election. So for all those folk out there, I hear you. I can relate. And I was always saying it's my right to vote, but it's also my right to abstain and say all these motherfuckers suck. But once I got George Bush in and saw how terrible of a president he was, it motivated me to say, I'll never miss another election. So I'm saying that because Donald Trump has been terrible. So hopefully young folk be motivated and get out there and vote because it does count.
hopefully. And before you derail this podcast anymore with your voting conversation, let's go on to the rest of the crew. Let's go on the rest of the crew so they can say what's up to our listeners and tell us how they're doing. So, Kita, let's go to you.
Yes. Hey, good. How are y'all doing? I'm about to say good night, like I'm ready to go.
Not yet, Pooh. We haven't
Not
started
yet.
having fun yet.
So today I would say my word of the day is exhausted. So I'm a little exhausted today. I had the little one that started virtual for the first day, and I decided to work. I should have taken off, but I wanted to be the one that always work, can't not stop working. So I was running up and down the stairs, checking on my daughter, and running upstairs to work. I had to fix lunch, all of the above, check on the other little one. So I'm very exhausted today because I did it all by myself. So hopefully I have a different plan next time. Yeah, so that's my word of the day.
That's cool because it's trial and error for all of us.
Yes.
It'll
Yep,
get
yep.
easier every day.
Yeah.
Thomas, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Just lovely.
All right. Well,
Chilling.
all right. That's what's up.
That's what's
My
up.
word, my word is relieved. I'm relieved. My son, he got banged up a little. Man, like 3 plays into the scrimmage, man. He was out for the rest of the scrimmage. So I'm relieved. Went to the trainer today, checked him out. He just had some type of, which something I never heard of before, a hyperextended muscle. So whatever that is, but he's getting worked on. He's gonna be okay. So I'm very relieved that he's okay.
Good, good. Did you guys do anything particularly fun this weekend?
This weekend we did not. And the reason is because Carter was kind of banged up. So we would have at least like go and swim or whatever and put something on the grill. But we didn't do it. And then my sister is not this weekend wasn't her weekend for her daughter because her and her baby daddy usually shares. I was trying to think another word. Usually share their time because it's her birthday. And so we're gonna do that this weekend coming up. So we're going to Wilmington to just chill at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is
we
that
didn't
where your sister lives? Or
no, we're just gonna go to the beach. She lives in
mm-hmm.
Charlotte.
Got you.
They taking that from Jay. Jay and Ladine threw that out there, so they jumping. Yeah.
Are you going, Thomas?
Well, she didn't want to go to Myrtle Beach, so I
Nah,
was like, go to Wilmington.
it's opening day Sunday.
Mm,
It's
gotcha.
it's opening day.
Ladine, what about you? How you feeling today?
I mean, I'm feeling lovely. Oh, the job done beat me up today, and I was exhausted earlier, just like Keita, but I got my energy back because of you beautiful people. Thank you very much. And my
Thank you very
word, yes, and my word of the day is gonna be, I guess I'm gonna say information. So I am getting a lot of information this weekend. I'm excited. It's the doTERRA convention. Most of y'all know I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate. And so to get information and to get like the science that backs the essential oils that I promote like crazy it's just really amazing. So I love information. I like to be an information hub for my family and friends and just to be able to get more to be the resource just because of what I'm getting. And like, it's like I absorb it like a sponge. And so I love every moment of it. So yeah, I'm excited because I'm going to be getting a lot of that this weekend for the next 3 days. Is the doTERRA convention where you get to get all of this beautiful info. And so yeah, I'm very happy about that. We really didn't do much of nothing this weekend, which was amazing. It was like perfect. It's exactly what I wanted to do was nothing. So it was great. It was exciting.
Love those weekends.
Yeah.
Jay, what about you? How you doing today?
I'm good. Good to be in the number one more time. Um, my word of the day is
Wait, I'm
anxious.
sorry. It's good to be. What'd you say?
It's good to be in the number one more time in the house of the Lord. Amen.
Oh, okay.
I cannot.
Hallelujah.
I'm too blessed to be stressed.
Right,
But,
yes.
oh man,
God is good.
all the
All the
time.
time.
And all the time.
God is good. Amen.
Y'all going to hell. Y'all
Yeah.
going to hell.
Oh man, let me stop. My word of the day. I'm feeling anxious. As we said last night, and as Pooh just said, it's the season. I didn't think we were going to have a football season, so the NFL is nearly upon us. So y'all get ready to be talking crazy shit about us over the next few weeks because We didn't think we was gonna have this day.
This not Defy Life. This not Defy Life. Hold on.
No, I'm
This
saying
not.
I'm sure we're
We
gonna.
talking about that.
Okay.
Right, Gina. This is not a Defy Life podcast. Anyway.
All right. But
Sorry.
needless to say, I am anxious that we get football is nearly in front of my face. So, and as my wife said, we didn't do anything. We had one of those amazing nothing weekends this weekend, so that was great.
Good, good. My word of the day. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say proud. I think I was gonna say evolving at first, but anyway, I've had a couple of um moments this week where I could acknowledge my growth, where I would have done something differently or said something or, so it's always just great to like have those moments and just like, yeah, I've been working on this and here it is manifesting itself. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to see it. So earlier I had agreed actually to do something for someone. And I agreed because I could hear or feel that the person was a little was in a bind, was kind of like really needing this help. And this was a work situation, so it was a paid, but still like I agreed because like I felt like they really needed me. And I fall into that trap. And I say a trap because it doesn't always serve me well, right? But because I feel for people, because I want to be helpful, when you come to me, it's like, okay, I'll do it, But then as I learned more about what it was entailing, it just it started not to feel good. And anyway, long story short, I ended up turning it down, right? Because it just wasn't going to serve me well. And there was a time in my life that I would have just continued to roll with it because I said I would, because, I was putting someone else's needs in front of mine. And so I was really, while I felt bad, because I still struggle with that, right? I felt bad about it, but I knew it was something that I needed to do. And so I'm just, it's like, yay, me, like not putting yourself out there for shit that one, like, it's just not, it's not for you. So that's my word. And Al already covered our weekend. It was a nice, relaxing weekend. We didn't do a whole bunch. I can't really remember if I left my house because that's kind of rare these days. But I think I went to the store. Nothing exciting, but he hooked it up on the grill. We had a few different kinds of meats, and I made some potato salad and some vegetables. So we had a good time. I did really miss, like, I noticed the difference of this holiday in this pandemic time and what it would have been, how it would have been different, had we not been in this space. But it's all good, and it was good, and I'm glad to be here. So, as we talk about or we think about or as we got into this marriage thing, right, there were so many things that now we know 25 years in, 12 years in, 9 years in, and for some people 1 year in, like whatever it is. Like now we know, like there's so many things that come along with this thing called marriage. Far more complex than we thought. At least that I thought, and so one of the things that comes to mind as we decided on what we were going to talk about, I thought about there's like this biblical text that speaks about a man loving his spouse and cleaving to her and forfeiting all others. That's not the word. I can't think of the word that I want to use. But it's this idea of leaving your family and friends and clinging to your wife. And we can say that that should be true for the reverse as well, right? And so when you hear that concept, when you hear that biblical reference, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And I'm going to go around. So Al looking at me all crazy. Yes, I didn't tell y'all I was going to ask this question, but that would kind of, defeat the purpose of getting that first thought, right? So let me start with Thomas, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Wow. Wow. Just throw that out again. Why I ponder? Why I ponder that?
You should have seen his face when you were getting
Okay,
off
so
the
like
question.
really, like it doesn't even have to be that serious, like whatever. So honestly, I'll
Okay.
start, right? So Thomas, the question was, as you hear people talk about how
Gina, you're
spouses
echoing.
how you hear about how spouses should cling to each other and forsake others. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
And forsake others. And so I'm asking, what was your first thought when you heard me say it or when you've heard it in the past? And so I'll just say, um, one of the first things that comes to my mind, and again, like I was saying, you don't have, and this is not politically correct or even nice, maybe. I don't know. But the first thing comes to my mind is a mama's boy. Like when I hear that phrase, that is just the image, the that's what comes to mind. And I think that that's probably just because we hear more, um, and not that it's true, accurate, or fair. I'm just saying, you hear more about that being problematic or a situation or the circumstance, right? You usually hear more about the mama's boy phenomenon. So that's really just the first thing that comes to my mind. You ready, Thomas?
The first thing that comes to my mind when I first heard it, of course, I was younger. I didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I was, mama's boy though, but I didn't understand why. That's what it had to be. Because you, I guess, picked up a wife, you had to denounce everything else. I really didn't get that. But I guess as I got older, I guess it doesn't have to go to the extent of denouncing everything else. It's just that things are, prioritized, and that wife moves up the list. So that, I guess
Okay.
that's what I get from it.
How about you, Jay?
Um, I guess like yeah, younger. I guess the first thought that comes to my mind is like the time, like those times of spending like the abundance of your time with your friends are gone. Um, like and that like I wouldn't know if I could spend 12 hours in a day playing Madden with Pooh and Al because we don't have the opportunity to do so because we have other responsibilities in our life. So that's what it means to me is kind of growing in different directions. No better, no worse than your friends.
This is kind of a sidebar question. Do you still have the desire to play Madden for
No,
12
I don't.
hours?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't, but I don't know if I would, like if I had the opportunity. I hadn't played Madden in 10 years, but I don't know if I would if I had the opportunity to hang out with Pooh and Al for 12 hours in a day, if I would even want to because we don't get the we don't have that chance anymore. I don't know. I doubt if we would like want to be around each other that much anymore as grown men, but I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. Al, what say you?
Um, I think when I first heard it, like when I was younger, I probably thought, "Wow, whoever wrote that don't know glimpse." Um, because we ain't denouncing glimpse.
That's true.
But I think as I've got older and understood kind of what they just talked about, like it's not necessarily just moving into a hut and never seeing your family again, but it's more about understanding that where when you were young and it was just you and your family, that you had this value and priority of being part of this family, and they, you know, this family, that was the family first. And I think as you get older and you start having, relationship with your spouse, and that family unit becomes important, then for me, it's not necessarily this spouse is going to be, you know, put this spouse over your family in every situation and every thing going forward. I think it's lifting up the value of your spouse to where you need to see the importance. So it's not a all the time thing for me. I guess it's kind of what as I hear it, it's like, well, maybe that's what's in the verse, but that's not how I agree. That's not what I think.
It's not in the verse to denounce everyone all the time necessarily. Kita, what were your first thoughts when you hear or when you heard?
Oh, I thought you was gonna say it.
I was. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
Yeah, I heard Al in the back. He was
Exactly.
We're here.
Thank
So when I first heard the word, I knew exactly, because I grew up in church and I grew around like older, like my grandparents, as I always talk about. But like my grandfather, he did his thing, but my grandmother always came first. So when I heard the word, I felt like when I get married, I come first. Like, you have to pay attention to me. That but when I ended up getting married, it kind of changed, I would say. And it changed because of me, because I wanted to I'm thinking because I still wanted to do my thing with my family and my friends. And then I wanted Thomas to still, be the kind of man or whatever. So I don't want him to feel like he has to, it's just me and him type thing. But that was my thing in the beginning of our marriage. But it kind of hurt a little bit.
It changed?
Yeah, it changed because Thomas was a game. He was a game person. Thomas was a game person, and he loves the phone. And so that's something that I couldn't understand and I didn't like. And so I didn't come first. And so we went through a lot of long talks and situations of leaving the house type thing with that situation. But as we got older now, I think he's more into like I come first, but we still have a good time with family though.
What about you? You said I'm into you come first. What about you? Because you said you want.
You always come first, because that's my thing. You didn't hear what I said.
Oh,
my
really?
grandmother and my grandfather, yeah, they come first.
You just
Marriage.
said you wanted to go places and do things with your friends, and so that's almost like a
what?
oxymoron.
But
like,
I said it kind of changed when I ended up getting married, because I wanted you to still have fun and not feel like you were tied down just to me. You gotta listen.
I guess I don't understand. Okay.
You gotta listen.
Ladine, stay out of grown folks' business.
I love Kita. No, Kita come up with the best stuff. I tell Kita, every people, they be coming up with the best stuff. I just be walking around the house repeating stuff Kita say. I be cracking up.
Like she be killing it with the one-liners.
Yeah,
you gotta listen.
I still kind of, I guess, I mean, but hey, I grew up in church as well, but I still didn't, my mom and dad was married, but I still didn't. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just didn't understand.
You ain't grew up in church like that.
Yes, I did. I went to Bible school and Wednesday. What are you talking about?
Oh,
but I still didn't get it. you know, I still didn't
And
get it because it sounds like you had to turn your back on everyone else. So I didn't. I just didn't get. I just didn't get that. You know. So
and I'm not. I don't know how much any of us really get it until we're in the situation.
right, right,
And we have different understandings
right,
of what we think
right,
it is when we hear it, or
right,
but this shit don't get real until it's real.
right,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right,
Hello, hello.
right, right.
A real talk. Um, and to Keita's point, like it has a whole lot to do with what we see when we're growing up.
And that
That helps us to shape the meaning of anything that we hear or see, or how we, what I'm saying, how we internalize stuff. Like,
and that I mean, and that's true because like I wouldn't relate that to that because like I said, my mom and dad was married for 25 years, but he was a womanizer and whatever. So I, I didn't coincide the two together. You get me?
mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, have any of you all had Ladine?
I heard somebody saying Ladine. Yeah. Well, it's okay. Keep going. Keep going. Do you think, Shorty? Do you think? I'm with
So, Ladine, and let me tell you what happens. In my mind, I'm like, okay, who am I going to go to? It's two left. Who am I going to go to first? And then I kind of switch in my head, like who I'm going to go to, and then I forget that I didn't go to the other person that I was going to go to in the first place. So, y'all, I'm gonna do better. I'm sorry, Ladine.
No,
Ladine, what
you're
did you think when you first heard? And I need to, my husband has a problem with whispering, so we're gonna work on that too. Like he trying to look out for me. So, but I'm gonna need you to whisper Ladine like out of the mic so she can't hear you.
I'm just gonna write it down because I can't whisper, so I'm just gonna write it down.
that's funny right now.
So, okay, Ladine, I'm sorry. What's up? What did you
No,
first think when you heard that?
well, I mean, for me, I guess to me I guess the question is sitting to me with like my mother, my family. They always said because my mother had 3 daughters, and so she would always say, your son is your son till he marries a wife. Your daughter's a daughter for the rest of your life. You guys heard that, right?
Wait, say it again.
No,
You
never
guys
heard that one
never
before.
heard
No.
this? Oh
No.
my God, I
I've not.
can't deal with this. So my mom used to always say this thing, and it
Must be
said
some Puerto Rican
it
shit.
basically was, "Shut up, Jr." It was.
Can you say it in
It was.
Spanish?
No, it's not saying it in Spanish. So it's your son is
Giannis
your son.
Antetokounmpo. Oh.
Shut up. Your son is your son till he marries a wife. Your daughter's your daughter for the rest of your life. And so that is just
But
what.
that's so true. I have heard that, and that is
Right.
so
So
absolutely true. But I'm sorry. Go
right. So that's just how like my mom like though it's those things that are like imprinted, I want to say, on your brain and on your heart and on your soul and on your spirit. And so when you get married and that stuff doesn't happen, it's like, wow, you were supposed to be mine. You're not supposed to be theirs. You're not supposed to be attached to them still. And it really was
ahead.
like that, but there was like a sense of that in there. Like, why does your sister have to call every day and find and figure out like what we had for dinner? And so it's so not malicious questions, right? And it's so not even like it's not even something that is never done maliciously, but it's just those things that it's like, can you give a brother and a sister a break? Can we live? Can you go live your own life for a minute, kind of deal? But it's not even I don't know. I don't even think my husband realizes how attached he really is, and how, no, he knows. He definitely
I was
knows.
gonna say yes, he
But
does. He
I
just don't.
do, right. He just don't care, right? So there's like this sense of arrogance that comes with those glimpses that Al was talking about, that they just don't even see it or realize it sometimes. But anywho, yeah, no, I don't think that I wouldn't say being, for me, I never wanted JR to completely detach from his family, and I never thought it had to be us or them. Like this isn't a spades game. So like I didn't think that it needed to be us versus them, or and I never thought that like I had like Yes, there are some times in my life where I got really upset and within our relationship where I felt like we were spending more time with his family than we were with my family and holidays and stuff. But in throughout our relationship, it was just really according to like our wherever we lived. So like if when we lived in Atlanta and our children were babies and we was paying $1,400 a month in daycare, we didn't have the money to come up here and to be traveling for Thanksgivings and stuff. So wherever if Thanksgiving was in Atlanta and it was at my sister's house, then that's where we were going because that's what we could afford. You know what I'm saying? And so like here, when we came here to North Carolina where we are at now, I don't have any family here. And so I think through the growing and through the experiencing, just realizing like now we get to spend more time with Jay's family, and it really doesn't bother me. So my family just lives further away. They always have. I had my sister in Atlanta and some extended family members, but other than that, like my family, I still got my father up north. I got my brothers up north. I got my mom and my other sister and aunts and uncles in Florida, and the rest of them are still in New York. So it's like I don't know. My family just lives far away. But for us, for me, I don't think that it has to be either or. I don't think that when you get married, it means that you have to like let your family go. No, but I definitely believe that sometimes there is a time of nurturing and there is a sense of nurturing for the husband and wife that needs to occur. And sometimes your family doesn't always need to be a part of that, and sometimes you do have to detach. I'm not saying detach permanently because, again, it doesn't have to be an either or, but you do want to detach a little bit so that you can nurture your relationship because there are just times where it's not necessary to have everyone involved or everyone there. And that took a lot for me to understand because I was always very open. And I would, me, I'd run my mouth. I would talk. And then, it got to a point where it was like, okay, now maybe you need to shut up and stop talking so much. And so, yeah, there definitely comes a time where you gotta honor what you have together, um, and the earlier that starts, I think the better for the marriage and for the relationship. But it never has to be an either or. I think that the man in the relationship needs to respect the woman's family and the woman needs to respect the man's family. And I do think that there's just some times where people cross boundaries and people cross lines, and those boundaries need to be set very early on in the relationship, and both parties should respect the other's opinion, period.
So I probably agree with everything that you said, except for it doesn't need to be either or. And so generally I would agree with that. But there are times when it needs to be either or, depending on the situation. So because there are lots of crazy situations out there, right? And
Right.
so I just think that boundaries sometimes get so crossed until sometimes there are choices that need to be made. But so have any of you had any situations where it was challenging, it presented challenges with your in-laws? So I remember several episodes back, Thomas told the story of, you know, beating Keita's cousin's ass. I think it was the cousin.
Yes.
That was key to put that out there.
I can't remember who made it known, but word on the street is that you beat her cousin's ass. So I'm just saying. So there are situations that come up like that. Have any of you had any? And if you don't want, as always, you don't have to give all the details, but just enough to let us know, what the end result was, what you did, how you dealt with it or remedied it. Anybody else out there beating their in-laws' ass? I'm just saying. And at times, because I don't know if we ever fully, because that's clearly not what the podcast was about. right? So afterwards, and I remember you saying the cousin was drunk and blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
afterwards, though, what is the relationship? Was there a mending process? Do y'all not talk? Do you beat his ass every time you see him? Like, you afterwards, what was it? And then what was it between you and Keita? Like, and if I remember the story, Keita was on the sidelines, like egging you on, like beat his ass. Yeah. So, she was in agreement with you that time. What was it? What was the conversation like the next morning when the cousin woke up with a black eye and it was like,
Nah,
yo,
it
fuck
wasn't
me.
nothing like that. Then she just talking about she can't believe I acted like that, and I was like, what? You practically stood, you practically stood on top of me, telling me to do what you got to do, and be a man. I mean, hey, that's what you practically did, and then you gonna tell me you can't believe I acted like that. I was like, what?
But no, they have a good relationship.
No, we do. We real cool.
That's one of my cousins. I don't know if he was shell shocked or whatever, but he was in the military, and so he do his little thing with everybody. But he came the next day and was like, Thomas, you hurt my knee. You hurt my knee, man. You done hurt my knee. So it was all in fun, even though it wasn't fun that night. But Thomas had told y'all, because I let it all out. So Thomas having told y'all that he had a situation with my brother.
Damn, he beat your brother's ass too? Y'all need to stop having family gatherings.
Y'all think Thomas is just this nice guy, but it's not true. It's not true. He's trying to.
Wait, I'm sorry. What's not true?
That Thomas is a nice guy.
God.
Pooh, you're an animal, man. You're a monster.
Pooh, what are we doing here? I don't understand.
We didn't fight. It wasn't like that.
And so I was in his corner again, and because me and my brother is something else. I love him to death, but he have his ways. But what was the situation? Something happened. We was having a card party because we play cards a lot. And he said something to you, and it was at our house. We was hosting the event and everything. And what was that he said to you?
I don't know. He said something, and he asked me what I wanted to do or something of that nature.
Okay, so whatever it was, I can't remember right now, but whatever it was, Thomas, my brother was like, well, what you want to do? Like that. And so why did he say that to Thomas? All I saw was chairs moving, and I'm hearing people holding them back, and all I could hear was like, I know that's not my brother, or whatever, and then I'm up there trying to fight my brother. So it was just a whole situation.
No, they was like, well, Keita get Thomas, and you was like, no, I ain't getting Thomas. Thomas got to handle his business sometimes. See, that's Keita.
Keita, I cannot. Oh my God, I love it.
So Thomas, was you doing the ass beating or was you getting your ass beat?
No, we wasn't.
They didn't fight that night.
We wasn't getting fight. I was trying to get to him, but it was like 50 people in there.
Did he apologize to you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. My brother ended up apologizing.
It's just. I mean, I'm extremely cool with everyone, but it just seemed like
trying to test your gangster. Go ahead, you can say it.
It's just playing me in my house. If you in your house, I'll rock with whatever your establishment is. I'll rock with your rules. But you can't talk shit and to me in my house where I pay the bills. That's just not gonna happen. It just can't happen. Won't happen.
Let's go back a little bit. Because Keita, I want to know, what was you doing? Was you getting your brother or was you getting Thomas?
She said leave Thomas alone. He got to
I
get
I
his.
was on Thomas' side that time. I was like, beat his ass.
Damn.
What my brother said. My brother said
Wait, you
something
you
slick.
told Tom you would like Thomas beat my brother's ass?
I told him to beat his ass unless I'm going to beat him. One of the two. Because my brother said something slick, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something real nasty, and everyone knows, like, we're the house that everybody comes to, everybody want to party, and like we always, having stuff, and no one never really have stuff. It's just us. So we just always feel like, y'all, not saying they using us or anything, but it's always our place, and we always be in the Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy type thing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to respect us. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm gonna remember. But all I heard, Thomas, my brother said something, and it was towards Thomas, and then I was like, oh, you gotta get him unless I'm gonna get him. And all I saw was chairs swinging, people holding people back. It was a mess. It was a mess. And then I even got at my daddy. It was just a whole mess. Because my dad was
on your daddy. You got your daddy. Wow.
I wish we had some recordings of it.
This a family affair for real, for real.
Right.
But it sounds like you were on Thomas's side.
I was on Thomas' side.
At least this time, because you said your brother said some nasty shit to your husband.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on his side. But my family's not bad, y'all. They just, when they drink and we, spending money and all of the above, stuff change.
What's that mean? What you mean stuff
change? She means, like I said the other day, alcohol is the devil.
The wrong is a little different.
As the night goes on, the rules change.
Yeah.
All right. Jay and Ladine, have y'all had a situation where it's gone a little bit to the left, and maybe it was, the two families not quite loving each other?
We've definitely had situations.
And she sound like, what was that? What was that cartoon? The cartoon animal. I mean, the character was named Motley, the Motley Crew.
Oh God.
She sound like him laughing.
Yes, I think the dog. It is an animal. It's the dog. Thanks, Gina. I'm the fucking dog. All right.
Yeah, see, I didn't say that.
Anyway.
Yes. That was a cool cartoon, though.
It was. We've definitely had some situations happen. Let me see. I want to say one of our first ones was actually with JR and my sister. And it was like, my sister came to the crib by herself without her husband, and she wanted to sit down. She wanted to talk to my husband.
Let me. I'll tell you where it starts from. Okay, so.
Oh.
No, but you
I
skip
didn't want to go into details. I didn't want to go into like crazy
I didn't want to make it seem like your sister just showed up at our house. Like it wasn't that. Like,
okay.
Because remember it was around our wedding.
Here we go.
Just everybody felt like they had some kind of control and, had something to say or something they wanted to input. And there was an email sent, and I was like, look, don't include me in this. I keep my mouth shut for a lot of shit in this family because...
He remembers details. I don't even remember that shit, but God.
So, and then somebody else, my brother-in-law replied, you ain't gonna be talking to my wife like that. I was like, I ain't talking to your wife. I'm talking to everybody. Like, just leave me out of this shit. So that's where it stemmed from. And then that's when she showed up wanting to talk. And, we hashed it out. But really just, I'm just big on, unless I ask you for your guidance on something, especially my wedding, I don't need it from you. So... that's where it stemmed from. Everything's cool now. But I think that was kind of something with me and my in-laws, we had to learn how to dance with each other. They kind of had to come to the understanding that I can come to a family event and I can chill in the corner by myself. It don't mean I don't want to be there. It's who I am. But sometimes I need to kind of let my hair down as well. So it's those kind of things. It's just differences of personality. And I'm not a big drinker like that. And so when you're the only sober person in the room around a bunch of crazy drunk Puerto Ricans, it's going to be annoying at times. So
I can't stand them, y'all.
Jab. That might have been a left hook. I don't think that was a jab. That was.
I feel the same way about my family. Like when I'm the only sober person in the room. It just so happens we're talking about in-laws. So my family's a bunch of crazy drunk Negroes. So it ain't a jab. It's just the specifics of the situation. Yeah, Negroes. But yeah, so really just just learning opportunities to get to know each other. But that happens. Never any disrespect. It's really just getting to know people.
Well, anywho, like I was saying, I wasn't done. Okay. I got more.
I'm sorry.
So that was just one incident. That was like just one, and it was great because I really had to get in the middle of my sister and my husband in the middle of this argument and tell my husband, I need you to listen to what she's saying. And I had to tell my sister, I need you to sit the fuck down and listen. And so it's that kind of stuff when I said it doesn't have to be neither or, but both parties. You know what I'm saying? Like even in that situation, like both people need to respect because you both love me. So I need y'all both to like turn your egos down and like really get it in here. But yeah, no, we've had situations. There's been other situations where I felt like my in-laws overstepped their boundaries several times, but I would usually wait until they left and I would let my husband know, like I'm gonna need you to handle that and let him handle it in whatever way he needed to handle it. I'm not gonna be, because yeah, and it's crazy because you either get one or the other side of Ladine sometimes. And I'm either crazy, I'm loud, and I'm a flip out in 2.5 seconds, or I'm going to be calm and I'm going to be relaxed. And a lot of times people see that calm. Sometimes people see that nice, and they might think that I'm so nice that they get to step over and do shit. Like, no, bitch, stop it right the fuck there. You know what I'm saying? But in the way that I talk and in the way that I communicate, I know that my in-laws would take that offensively because I'm so blunt. And because I'll be like, look, bitch, you done played yourself. You overstepped some fucking boundaries. I'm going to need you to back up. They would not take it right. They wouldn't even know how to handle it. And I know that just because of the way my husband is sometimes. And there's certain conversations I got to watch my mouth and really think about it before I even come to him with shit, because I'm going to say it like this because this is how I mean it. But he's not going to take it like that. He's going to feel like I overstepped my boundaries with him. So I really have to sit down and think about shit before I even come to him and tell him like I feel violated or like I feel like Shorty played herself. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just little things that I gotta handle with care, because I don't want to put him in a predicament that's unnecessary. And we did have an unnecessary predicament with the family. It was an outlaw situation, which we were saying we didn't know that was going to come up. But yeah, so in the Glenn family, our lovely, beautiful Aunt Carolyn, she created the Outlaws. And so, Gina, if you want to explain more of that, you can. But basically, it's instead of being in-laws, we are the Outlaws. And so it was between myself and another outlaw, as a matter of fact. And it was very scary what it turned into for me. The whole family was in like a brawl, and I had never seen so many people that I love. Like, to me, I felt like they were all in danger, like some serious danger, like somebody was going to get hurt. And so it upset me because it started with me. And so, of course, I brought the situation to my husband, and I was like, look, I need you to know that this is what happened, and I need you to take care of it. And so he, like a man, thought he was handling it like a man. And the other person involved, was a hothead on another outlaw. And it just escalated, and it continued to escalate. And so it's just situations like that I feel can be very unnecessary, and when you're dealing with certain people, or they feel like it's like the battle of the egos, and who's freaking hanging longer and better. And I don't do well in these situations. So
Well,
yeah.
ultimately, what it boiled down to was two things. One, sometimes it ain't about ego or pissing contest. Sometimes it's about somebody. Sometimes some people deserve an ass whooping. That's just that simple.
Yeah.
And two, it's also family and in-laws, especially in-laws, can teach you a very important lesson, and that is that it's possible to love somebody from a distance, and to be okay with in the same room with somebody you don't fuck with. Right? So, those kind of situations can teach you those lessons, that you don't have to rock with somebody to be cordial in the same room with them. And you can, be cordial, love them from a distance, and keep it moving. And nothing has to change. But I'll say this: the most utter form of disrespect I ever had from an in-law was me and my wife was coming out for our first dance as a couple after our wedding, and got to the reception. and no, I'm airing this out. So
I'm
airing this out.
Right now?
Hey, y'all gotta hear this. This is the highest form of disrespect right here. Right.
It was. No, because I felt like it was very disrespectful, and that was my mother.
Right. So me and my wife, we both big hip hop heads. Al, Gina, y'all was there. So, we both big hip hop heads. So our first coming out, song was gonna be Method Man and Mary J. You All I Need. And so we was set. Like, yo, this is dope.
We was open. We was like,
All
yo,
right.
the family's about to go crazy.
Right,
We come in, this is Tennessee popping. We was open.
Right. So we give Lay's mom the song. She takes it to...
No. We sitting in the car
Right.
with Mom and Joe, and my mom comes out, and my mom's like, are you guys sure that this is the song you want to play? And we're like, yes, Mommy, that's the song. Why are we doing this right now? Like, just go inside. Why are you even here right now?
Yeah.
So good.
So she's like, okay. So she goes in. We thinking everything good. We walk. They announce our name. We bust through the door, ready to get busy with Meth and Mary, and these motherfuckers play Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, the original version.
Whoa!
Yes,
The classic.
Yo.
But not what they want.
Horrible, right? We looked at each other like this did not just happen right
I
now. That
want
was
this.
as bad as playing. That would have been as bad as this is how we do it coming on. Like I cannot. That's
I wanted
how
to take
bad
off.
That
I wanted to take off my cummerbund and throw it at my mother-in-law. At that point. Yo, that's the worst thing. Because that's I'm kidding, but I'm not. Because it's a moment you never get back, and it was something that was important to us. But again, it's those things that some people think they need to put their fingerprints on things that they have no right to put their fingerprints on.
Right.
So, I ain't over it. I probably never will be. I'll be 70 years old, mad because I ain't getting Meth and Mary and my wedding song. So, but yeah. So, but I forgive my mother-in-law. I still rocks with her. But yeah, there's certain in-laws or outlaws that I just don't fuck with, and I'm good with it.
Well, I'm glad to know that I'm one of those outlaws that you still fuck with.
Heavy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Every in-law ain't an outlaw.
Oh man,
This is true.
Oh, that is true
Ladine
too.
has broken up the family.
What are you talking about? I did not break the family up.
This did not. No, I did not break the
Well,
family up. And the worst part, I'm sorry, Gina, but the worst part about it is that me and that outlaw were very close. Like, I absolutely adored this person. We were real tight that, people would always talk shit. I'd be like, yo, he's one of the coolest people I ever met. Like, I absolutely love him. But there were just some boundaries that, like, he overstepped and he didn't understand it. And so, as a woman that's married to my husband, it was my duty to let my husband know, like, look,
Man,
this is what.
Pooh
This
don't
is the
know
real
what
deal.
happened. So
Oh,
That's
sorry.
that's another podcast
Right.
right
Right.
there. Like, is
Yeah.
it your
Yeah.
duty to tell?
oh right. Yeah.
Well, that's a good
Right.
one.
And so Pooh don't know what happened. So yeah, the nigga was running his fingers and shit through my wife's hair. Talking about Jay don't know how lucky he is. No, I'm saying we ain't saying no names. We ain't saying no names, but the nigga was running his hands through my wife's hair, talking about Jay don't know how lucky he is. Jay,
Man.
yeah,
What?
right.
No, and it's not, and it's not just that, but then I mean, it's
For the second time.
With the situation that I was in, it was uncomfortable. There's other family members out there to the point where one of Jay's cousins was calling him. One of Jay's male cousins is sitting right across. His wife was right there. Who's JR's cousin? This was JR's cousin's husband.
Yeah.
And first of all, JR's female cousin, I love her to pieces. Like, I love her and her husband to pieces. There's no love lost here still to this day. But it was just like, she didn't even understand the severity of what was happening. She was right there. And so it's like, so you're right here. I'm telling you, yo, get your husband, and you not even getting him. Like, you not even listening to what's happening. Then JR's other male cousin sitting there, and he's calling Jay like, yo, you need to get down here, bro. And my husband's sleeping. So, and yes, the male cousin, he did come up, and I think he finally realized when I was headed on the way inside with one of the other females, with one of my fellow outlaws. I'm headed on inside with her, and he comes up and grabs he was like, yo, I was just playing, it wasn't. So come on, it's like, you knew what you was doing, and you knew it was inappropriate. And until I said something, you would have kept that up. Like, what if I was one of those females that was like, hey, Poppy, what you doing? Why don't we go get one of these rooms to ourselves? What if I was one of them bitches? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just...
Nah, then y'all just would have fucked and it would have been that.
It's disgusting. That's not it's inappropriate.
Hey, forgive her. We've been watching Power all weekend. That's
So
just where we at right now.
anyway, I really didn't even want to go into details, but again, there's no love lost. I still love both of those. I love JR's cousin to pieces, and I ain't got no beef with the man, but till this day, this happened 3 years ago now, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, guys, 2 years ago, I don't know, but we still never actually got to sit down as four people and have the conversation.
2019.
What are you gonna do?
No, 2019. No,
It was 18.
2018.
18, yeah, you're supposed to have another one.
Because we're supposed to have another one.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was causing a family brawl, and it
So
was
real
very-
talk, it was such an event and so crazy that I forgot that it started with you. So like as I remembered the story, I kind of forgot how it all started because so much other shit happened that weekend.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I forgot that part of the story.
Right. And so, that situation ended the way that it did, in terms of you, Ladine, saying, there's no love lost, right? That's you speaking. I'm not sure how JR feels.
I love my cousin
But-
to death. I never stop loving my cousin. That's my dog.
We
But I
ain't
don't
talking
fuck
about
with
your
her.
cousin. We ain't talking about your cousin.
I just said I don't fuck with her husband. Nah.
And so, in that situation, you guys are distant enough both geographically and like in the family, right? So y'all are first cousins and we know how close you guys all are. But real talk, she's not your sister. You know what I'm saying? And so the relationship is different, or maybe it's not. So, in those cases where you um, are closer to the person, where you have to deal with them on a regular basis, what happens when your in-law has fucked up to the point where, like you said, I ain't got nothing to do with him no more. I still love his spouse, but I'm not fucking with you anymore. And the kind of rift that can create. Al,
Yes.
have we had any in-law situations?
So I think you're looking at, again, quarter of a century of relationships being built and being tested. So I think, and developed. So I think that as I look back over that time, it's definitely people have had disagreements. Like I think with me and your mother, while we are, buddy buddy and can have some real good conversations, there was definitely a time where I don't think she enjoyed talking to me too much. And I think part of it, because we come from such different family environments, so different, that their exposure to me in a very obnoxious way of, I could see me rubbing them the wrong way, to where we had some real interesting conversations where neither one of us was backing down, especially me and your mother. I really, all in all, with your in-laws, I can't think of any beef I've had with them for real, for real. I think while your sister Norma, I think she, rest in peace, her beautiful soul, loved me instantly because she liked the party in me. But she was also quick to lay down the law in terms of boundaries. Like, yo, you don't know me like that, but I will fuck you up if you fuck with my sister.
And that was my sister. Like, yo, that was the truth.
And I laughed at her.
Right, but she would have fucked you up.
I was like, you are fucking like, I just thought it was the funniest shit. Like, you fucked me up? Are you fucking kidding? And everybody's looking at me like, yo, you don't know who you like, yo. That's that, yo. She's the chick right here. And I'm like, whatever.
You don't
Like, whatever.
know who my sister was.
You're not putting any fear in my heart. And everybody's like, man. So, but I loved her. Now on a reverse tip, in terms of my family, your in-laws, we a lot to deal with. So I think over time, I think you've offered us a lot of grace. I, I I'm very close with my siblings, like extremely close. I have 4 siblings. I'm very close with my cousins, and we're like siblings. And we all, in our own right, are crazy. And for people who sign up to marry us, to be in this family,
we ain't know what the fuck we were signing up.
Yeah, I did.
No, we didn't.
I tried to expose you to the craziness while we were dating. So you had 7 years.
I had no idea.
No, you had a whole good clue. And I'm not private with our craziness. I'm pretty open with how crazy I am and how crazy the other folk are. So you was well aware of the craziness. So I'm not feeling sorry for nobody complaining about hanging with the glimpse. So
I ain't asked for your pity. Ain't nobody want you to feel sorry for nobody.
Over the years, in some regards, you've had better relationships with some of my siblings than I did at moments. Like between,
some of your cousins too.
Cousins too, right? Which almost had me a little jealous. Like, yeah, I ain't never been that close to that motherfucker. How you get so close to them? And which is cool, but just was just kind of things that I observed. And when there is beef, I honestly, every situation is different, but for the most part, I believe in you having your own role in my family and address them Like, if there's a problem with my wife, talk to my wife. That's kind of how I am. If it's a problem with my sister, brother, y'all handle that. Because y'all been with each other long enough. If y'all want to resolve it, resolve it. If not, long as y'all still kicking it with me, that's really all I'm focused on, because that's y'all's relationship. And I think I believe everything. I believe in communication. So I believe in people talking shit out. And I think, had good relationships over the years. Some hiccups, but for the most part, when you think of the number of people that you've had to deal with, I think you have maintained a good record with most of them. Most of them will really, really, really fuck with you, and I think that's a good record, because some of my family is really crazy and a lot to deal with. I ain't saying no name, but y'all know who we talking about.
You a mess. This is funny.
Right. So, y'all, it's about 6,000 glimpses, right, that show up at 98% of the family functions. So, it's always a lot. It really does remind me of, and here lately I've been using this analogy a little bit more, but it really reminds me of like this club. Like the glimpses are like a club, exclusive club.
We prefer clan
With a C or a K?
with a C. You almost
Think
had me.
about that for a second.
Almost had.
Right. Wait, why? You
That
just
was
I
mad
like to
funny.
be different. I like to be different. So I was gonna say, oh no, you don't want to be C, Nick. I'll go with C.
Yeah. Um, so yes, it is a lot. It's a lot of personalities. It's a lot of everything. And when you're dealing with a family that is as close knit and as proud as they are, it comes with its unique set of challenges. Over the years, I've had, because it's been 30 years, and so yeah, I've had some conflicts with some of the cousins. Early on, I felt I felt like it was rough early on. But like Al said, I have some really good relationships with a lot of the family, and some not so much. There's, like in every situation, because we're all humans, right? And there's just some humans that's not quite aligned with who you are, and so you don't fuck so much with those people. But there's always love, and I think what really has guided me throughout the years is just my respect for my husband, right? And understanding how important his family is to him. And so if it's that important to him, then I need to figure out how to make this work, right? Because what I don't want is the tension between
Right.
me and his family, or between him and I, and I don't want to put him in a situation where he feels like he has to choose, right? Because it's just never good. Somebody's going to end up hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny you say that, because when I've been asked, there has been people who've asked, yo, how can I help? And I'm like, yo, exactly what you just said, that's what I told them. That's how you can help. Like, yo, really? Squash, like, understand that my wife is important to me. So if you really want to help me, if you really give a fuck about me, try to squash any beef. Like, have shit good. Because when shit's not good with y'all, guess what? Shit's not good with us. Because it's like, you can't be right when I can't be right knowing that y'all ain't right. Because while, I'll get on with life, but that shit just don't feel right,
Yeah.
normal. It ain't settling, you know what I mean? Like, the most peaceful existence for me is people getting along. Like, that's peace.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to make it easy for me, keep the peace, nigga.
Yeah, well, that's not always going to happen.
No, it's not.
That's not always easy. Um, and life goes on, and so I just try um Yeah, it's hard. Like it's really hard as I think about a situation that I'm dealing with right now, like with in-laws. It's just really hard because, again, mm, so I haven't quite, like honestly, I haven't quite figured it out. Um, but I do know that one thing that has helped me along the way is just that idea of building relationships, right?
Mm.
So I was intentional about building relationships with his family because I know how important they are to him. And because I knew we was in this thing for the long haul, and so it's in my best interest as well. Like, and so I put in the
Right.
time. I put in the time to build the relationships, and most of them have turned out pretty good. Some of them pretty fucking fantastic. And then there's, the ones that are just okay. Um, but I think that that's really what it takes. And, like Jay was saying earlier, it's just like this graceful dance that everybody has to do. And sometimes you'll lead and sometimes you have to follow. And sometimes you'll get your toes stepped on, but you continue to dance because that was an accident. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? And so you move on and just continue the dance and figure out how to get more in tune rhythmically,
Mm.
figure out what songs you're going to dance to that you both can enjoy. Like
Yeah,
just
and
figure out.
sometimes
It's a great
though,
analogy.
it really is. But I do think sometimes you also realize y'all ain't never gonna be on the same rhythm.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And sometimes it's that, you know what? I'm good. I'm not going to dance with you.
Right, and
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
okay. And you
And that's
gotta
That
okay.
know
is
that's okay.
okay.
Right,
That is
Right.
right,
okay. As long as everybody like, see, because don't step to me wrong, right? And for
right.
Mm-hmm.
me, there's always been like, 'cause we talked about this a little bit on the pre-show, right? We all have our histories.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit of a hothead. I was a little bit like, I really don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like either we gonna be down or we not, and fuck you, and I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? But with his family, I kind of learned not to take that perspective. Because real talk, my family is not like this. Like we don't have this level of closeness, and I can walk away, and I have really, right? I really have like walked away from a lot of my family. Like nigga, I'm just not rocking with you. Like, and it's not that we just not in that place. And sometimes that's okay. But considering how close the glimpses are, there's not an option. I won't say it's not an option. It's hard um, to remove yourself, right? Because there's going to be lots of times when you are together and just make the best of it. So I do think that it really is about respect. It's about, you know, the spouses being on the same page. It's about figuring out what's important to both of you, like collectively and then individually. But I also feel like there are times when a break is needed, whether it's temporary or permanent. But I also think that sometimes people don't understand, both male and females, right? That there's just so many little things that you can do to make someone feel valued or as if they are a priority
Mhm.
at times when it's not forced. You know what I mean? Like it's a situation where, okay, Al, make a choice. I'm forcing you. Where's your priorities? Where's your loyalty? You know what I'm saying? I'm questioning it because of this situation. But a lot of times, if you can make that person feel um, as if they're priority or valued, or I would choose you if I had to, like you probably going to be posed with that question much less. You know what I'm saying? You're probably going to have to face that conversation much less with your spouse because they already know where you stand. They're already secure in that, boo, I'm your priority.
Right, but sometimes you got to make that stand. I see what you're saying. Right,
hmm
right.
So that's just my take on the situation. But yet, just another thing that is very situational. I feel like I'm echoing again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's just very situational. And it depends on the family. It depends on the time. It depends on, all of that as to whether or not there really has to be like a side picked. And if at all possible, if we can avoid picking sides, like everybody would be that much happier.
I agree, definitely.
Absolutely. So y'all love your family, love your in-laws. I know sometimes they fucked up, but you signed up for it when you said I do.
You did. We all did.
You
And sometimes
did.
you gotta look in the mirror and be like, damn, I did. And
Right.
And suck it up and shut up.
Right. Suck it up and shut up. Or we could do like Peter, throw a jab real quick. And then suck it up and move on.
There you go.
Take that.
Take it. All right, y'all. So before we go, I do want to shout out to all of our patrons that have supported us over the time. I'm going to say a thank you in advance to our future patrons. Guys, help us continue to pay some bills. Listen up. If you want to support us financially, that's wonderful. If not, that's wonderful too. We just love knowing that you are enjoying our shows every week. So on that note, we will say good night.
And to do that, if you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/GoDefyLife. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
You're
welcome. So on that note, we're going to say good night. Hopefully, we help somebody out there deal with your in-laws or maybe your spouse. Who knows? But, right. Just keep it moving. Keep your eyes on the prize. And just know family is everything. Good night.
Peace.
Y'all.
Good night.
Peace.
Playing the commercial.
We're told that greatness is exceptional, when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.